Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today we are going to be talking about the 1977 classic album by Steely Dan. This is Asia, pronounced Asia, released on September 23rd, 1977. This is the sixth album by Steely Dan. A lot of people call Steely Dan a jazz rock group. I'll take that. That's fair enough. This was the band's best-selling album. The musical duo of Donald Fagen and Walter Becker, who were the primary composers and members of Steely Dan. If you look at the credits for the album, on the inner sleeve with the track listing and everything, there are several musicians who were credited for playing on this album. Of course, Donald Fagen and Walter Becker are the main guys, but a lot of combinations of session players were utilized for the recording of this album. One of their best-selling albums, it went to number 3 on the charts in the United States. It reached number 5 over in the UK. It was the band's first platinum album, and it sold eventually over 5 million copies. And there were quite a few singles from this album, so chances are you know a few songs from Asia. The songs Peg, Deacon Blues, and Josie. And this also won the Grammy Award for Best Engineered Non-Classical Recording. It's in the Grammy Hall of Fame, and it was ranked number 145 on the Rolling Stone 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. And a lot of people say this is one of the better records for your turntables as an audiophile record. So if you've got a good high-end system, this is a record to own and play. A little background, Donald Fagen said the album was named for a Korean woman who married a high school friend of his brother. And this cover photo, I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly, Hideki Fuji. This was the Japanese model and actress Sayoko Yamaguchi. And the inside photos were taken by Walter Becker, funny enough, and Dorothy White. Several session musicians were featured on this album. The title track, Asia, features Wayne Shorter, saxophone player. And just a few of the musicians that were featured on here: Joe Sample, Michael Omartian, Larry Carlton, Lee Ritenour, Chuck Rainey played bass pretty much on all the tracks except for Deacon Blues. Jim Keltner, drummer, Tom Scott, Jim Horn, Chuck Finley, Michael McDonald featured on this album, Timothy B. Schmidt, Clyde King, various people, produced by Gary Katz, who worked a lot with Steely Dan, engineered by Roger Nichols. Just a lot of heavy hitters on this album, mastered by Bernie Grunman. So it's got a lot of great players. It's a smooth album, not a really rock type record with a lot of heavy guitars, but it holds up well. The songs flow together very nicely, and it makes for a pleasant listen. Like I said, you know the songs: Deacon Blues, Peg, Josie, Black Cow, a really smooth song. Of course, Deacon Blues features the line, they got a name for the winners of the world. They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blues. Really, really fantastic record. Probably the best of the classic Steely Dan albums. This kind of summarizes everything they were up to. Like I said, not really a hard rock band. I wouldn't even say pop music. Donald Fagen, kind of an R&B type singer, but very jazzy and everything. The chord structures, the timing, just the feel of the music was a jazz feel. but with nice smooth vocals. So it's hard to call it a jazz album with guitars prominently featured. But it's a really nice sound. It's very LA sounding, very cohesive, and everything just flows together really nicely for a solid listen. And I think most people that have heard this album can agree that it's really good. What do you think about it? Comment down below. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter as TommyBurton75. In the meantime, I will see you all again tomorrow with another Daily Record.